Hello, Cupcakes. Welcome to another edition of Cupcakes Comic Book Reviews with me, Lohit. And I did not know what to call this video, so I just named it Truckload of Legion of Superhero Comics because that's what this is. It's a truckload of Legion of Superhero Comics. So today I went out to the local BMV here and then I picked up some of these Legion of Superheroes back issues, and there's like 40-50 of them. And yeah, it didn't cost me much. It cost me like $20 because these are all old issues. But then I always had like a love for Legion of Superheroes and reading Legion of Superheroes. It's some of the first comics I read ever in my life because I used to read a lot of DC comics as a kid, and other than Superman and Batman, Legion and JSA were the two titles that I was super familiar with because I used to get them from street vendors and grocery stores. So yeah, so when I was like, okay, I have to read some Legion, it was always kept on bugging me because there are not too many collected editions of Legions of superheroes, and especially that 80s era, which was like when Legion was like really, really good. So when I saw these, I just had to pick them up. And this week I did not go to my LCS because I had like two books and I was like, okay, this is not worth it. I might just go the next week and then, pull some more books. But for this week, yeah, Legion of Superheroes. And if you have never heard of Legion of Superheroes and have no clue of who they are, I'm not a Legion expert or anything, but I'll tell you what I know. So basically, they're a superhero team from the 30th century, so in the future of the DC universe, and primarily they consist of these three characters, the Legionnaires 3. So you have Lightning Lad, basically he shoots lightning powers, Garth Rance. And then you have Imra Ardeen, who is the Saturn girl. She has like telepathic powers. And you have Cosmic Boy Rockrin, who is basically, he can do like magnetic powers similar to what Magneto does. And it's not, they are the three main faces of Legion of Superheroes, but there are a lot more, just like the X-Men, because this team is set in the future. So there are many of them, right? They are a universe of them, of Legion of Superheroes. And the whole idea is that Superboy, who was a younger Superman, visits them in the future, and like he time travels and visits them in the future, and he learns that these heroes are aware of those heroes from the past, and they're like completely so based on what they did, like they have, instead of a Justice League, they have a Legion of Superheroes, right? And now in the 31st century. So overall, I think that's the idea. And there are a lot more characters, a lot of interesting characters like Bouncing Boy, Chameleon Boy, Brainiac 5, Wildfire, you name them, they have them. So this Legion of Superheroes, that's what overall Legion of Superheroes is all about. Let's just look at the issues and I'll see what I can, tell you about any of this. So again, this is the series that was created by Mr. Paul Levitz, written by Paul Levitz and drawn by Keith Geffen. And Levitz is known for his, this is what Levitz is really known for. He was also the editor-in-chief of DC Comics from, I think, 2002 to 2009. And he was the president, and he worked with some of the Golden Greats. So I think he joined DC somewhere in the 50s and the 60s. And he worked, I think, for Joe Orlando as an associate editor. And then he also used to do like the letter pages for them. And eventually he became like a creative force in DC, and and he earned some business degrees as well. And yeah, eventually becoming the highest honor at DC, the president. And he is so Paul Levitz is also the guy who brought in like Marv Wolfman and people like George Perez to DC, and at the same time John Byrne. And he worked with some of the Golden Greats like Jeanette Kahn. And the most important person he brought along DC was, for me, Karen Berger. So Karen Berger, who created the Vertigo comics. So, Paul Levitz was responsible for hiring. And Paul Levitz is basically, a lot of the comics I liked as a kid, at least in the 80s era of DC. These runs, he started at around, I think, 1979. And then he was there till 1989. And these are some of the best comics you'll ever read, at least from that time, from the era. This is, again, Sunboy. So you have all these interesting characters and different storylines exploring a different facet of like a complete universe. So again, you don't need to know what happened in DC in the past to dive into this. And I think I read this issue as a kid, man. That's Wildfire. Yeah, he shoots balls and he's got this cool costume, but then he can't come out of the costume. He stays trapped in it. But yeah, so again, these are again, like I said, three primary heroes: Cosmic Saturn Girl, Cosmic Boy, and Lightning Lad. And Bouncing Boy, yeah, there you go. Bouncing Boy is like he's like a fun character. So yeah, kind of like Jubilee in the X-Men stuff. So yeah. So again, so you don't need to be super familiar with any of these characters to read these. Like just know the basics, and then and because they have a continuity of their own and they're set in the future, so yeah, it has a life of its own. And there you go. There is Superboy, right? So yeah, I'm not going to go through all of these issues because that's going to be taking all night long. So I'm just going to flip through some of them just to show you the art of Keith Geffen. So Keith Geffen, again, as you know, did like the Justice League International books, and he's written so many other stuff after that. Yeah, Keith Geffen, but then he originally also started working on this. So yeah, so again, what put DC Legion of Superheroes on the map was this story, which is basically the Great Darkness Saga. I didn't buy this today. I already had it in a trade paperback. But yeah, so if you read this, this is like a starting point for you if you ever want to get into Legion. And of course, it features Darkseid, so you definitely should buy this. And that's Lightning Lass, Lisa Dark. So yeah, so start with this. This collects issues, if I believe 280 to 290 to 294, and the Superheroes Annual. And yeah, like they say here, this is the Earth in the 30th century, and a world of science and technology, a world of peace and light. Yeah, preserving the peace is the Legion of Superheroes, a group of young adventurers who are the best and the brightest of their kind. So yeah, if you want to dive in old school Legion, this is your gateway point, and then you can like jump into all these other books. So yeah, I am totally like, this is going, I can't read an omnibus, but then these are like 50 singles. I will probably gobble them over a weekend or something. And because I don't know, I just like the format. Wildfire, hey man, old school superpower toys. And it's also exciting to me because I used to buy these comics exactly in this format as a kid. So just to see like these superpowers toys ads, or to see like, yeah, there's an acne medicine ad. Yeah, it brings back memories, man, because who didn't have acne, man? You had acne, I'm sure. Everyone has acne. That is the classic Supergirl with the headband and everything. So yeah, Supergirl also has a tryst with the Legion, and that's Brainiac 5. So the fifth version of Brainiac, the super intelligence. So yeah, so as you can see, like similar to what they have like in the Teen Titans and in the X-Men, they have a huge run. I'm not sure if this whole Paul Levitt stuff is ever collected into like an Omni format, but we want you to join the Legion. So the thing with Legion is they all have these rings they used to call each other. So every member gets like a link, and there are so many tons and tons of characters. So it's like diving into a whole new universe of characters. Some of them even I don't know because there are so many members out here. But I do know that's like Chameleon Boy. So I know Timberwolf. I know a couple of other of them. And yeah, so and Paul Levitt's created like a universe of, it's like creating a whole comic book universe all together in itself with the Legion. So yeah, so as you can see that that's Element Lad. So you have Monel coming in. So a lot of these classic characters found their introductions here, and as you can see, they focus on different themes at different times. And it became so popular that they started like parallel runs of this, right? So like because it was selling like hotcakes at that time, so they decided to do another Legion of Superheroes, a second series. And yeah, different issues featured like different storylines. There you go, Brainy's Lucky Day. That's a cool cover. And so they feature like different, basically a kind of overarching story, as well as if you pick up any individual of issues, like you'll still have fun. So you don't need to know all of this. And again, what I read is like, even like the art style changes a bit. Like Keith Geffen was inspired by some Argentinian artists at the time. So eventually when the run started, he had like a definitive tone and a definitive art style. But then he changed it later on because he got influenced by a lot of these like South American writers and stuff. So yeah. But again, I dug this art, I dug these characters, this is what like brought me into comics. So yeah, this is definitely my jam. And if you're someone who likes old school comics, this should be your jam too. Legion of Superheroes, A Time to Die. And that's Monel. He was called Largand at the time, and they renamed him to Monel. So, and he's a Daxamite. So, just like Kryptonian, he is from another planet, and he also has like super strength, speed, and everything. So yeah, some of these characters even I don't know, man. Because yeah, so it'll be cool for me to like dive in. And yeah, I always confuse her with the chick from Alpha Flight, because they both look exactly the same. So yeah, there you go, some Marvel Comics crossover too. And then this is the Time Trapper. So yeah, some cool issues, man. And I'm happy that I get to read all of this. Again, I don't need all the issues, and these are like not in order or anything. But I'm happy that I have this huge massive run. And so as I was saying, that they were doing like, so this is the main line of comics they were doing, but because the thing became so popular, they started doing a parallel line of comics. So this is a Starboy, Legion of Superheroes on the side. So again, this is 80s nostalgia for me, and super awesome goodness, and detailed artwork, and good writing, stories that mattered. Hey, that's Mr. T. So yeah, and old school ad, man. Thundar the Barbarian. Where can you see? You can't get that in an omnibus, man. You need a single issue for that, and that's why single issues rule. So, and this format, like a friend of mine, Taylor from Taylor Talks Comics, mentioned that he likes this old school brownish color of comics. Just gives the nostalgia to read this in a different format. If it's printed on a glossy paper or a matte paper like they do these modern omnibuses, it's not the same. And I totally agree with that, and I totally relate to this. Like I feel that I like this newspapery kind of paper, because I grew up with it. So there you go. So this is these are some of the second series which started. The numbering on the older issues was like, they went with double digits, but then on this one they went with the legacy numbering. So you see all these like 307s and 306s, and that's always like fascinating how comic book numbering works. So, but again, Element Boy, Largand, or Monel as they call him now. So yeah, that's cool, man. So old school nostalgia, some 80s goodness, The Prophet, Legion of Superheroes, and yeah, can't wait to dive into these things, man. And Keith Giffen, like, was at the top of this game. So you're under that. This looks like something like from a Judge Dredd comic or something. I Am the Law. So yeah. And yeah, these covers just like, they're so fascinating. The cover work is so detailed. It's like I can just stare at these covers and not even read the books, and I'll be happy, So yeah, man. So this is awesome, and can't wait to dive in. Then you got this, the Legionnaires 3. It's like a mini series, which I think Keith Giffen did by himself. So I didn't get like issue 1, but I have like the other 3 issues. So it's a 4-issue mini. But yeah, this is about them dealing with the Time Trapper. Look at these covers, man. Look at these. Okay, Time Trapper, you win. So such a good use of negative space and lightning lad over there. This is so good, man. They're trapped in an hourglass and they're falling. And yeah, and those, seriously, man, 80s was a good time to become a comic book fan. So other than the Legion stuff, I also got like, some of other books. Okay, the last Legion book is this one. This is just a single issue. I don't know, man. I just liked her assets, and that's the reason why I bought it. This is Dream Girl, and this is a lone single issue from the Mark Waid era. So I think Mark Waid wrote this too. So yeah, this is just a single issue. So there you go. I just picked it up because, for the assets. Assets and liabilities, that's what life is all about, man. And then I found this cool issue. This is made me think. So you have the Fantastic Four movie coming in. So Marvel has a stretchy guy. DC has 2 stretchy guys. So you've got Plastic Man and Elongated Man. What else do you need, man? This is amazing. So, so you got 2. And then the first one, I think, is done by, the Plastic Man story is done by Roy Thomas, who I like because of his Conan stuff. And Elongated Man is done by Gerard Jones, and Ty Templeton does the art. So they were also like super classic artists. So yeah, it's like, 2 stretchy guys, man. There you go. Have to pick him up, So Elongated Man and Plastic Man. That's the crossover I need. So again, looks awesome. Art is so amazing here. Secret Origins, single issue, that's it. Don't need to read anything anymore. This is good enough. So, awesome, amazing stuff. And then last I was like, because I picked up like those in my last $10 haul, some Doom Patrol. So I got like these 3 issues of Paul Kuppenberg's run on Doom Patrol. I want to read this. This is I think Silver Age and Bronze Age Doom Patrol, and this is I at least want to read this Paul Kuppenberg run, because this is a completely different time. So this is Mrs. Calder. So she's married to Niles Calder. This is Arani Calder's. Of course, Cliff Booth, your robot man. And this is, if I'm guessing, this is Negative Woman instead of Negative Man, Valentina Vostok. So this was a different era of Doom Patrol, man. It's not as crazy as Grant Morrison's run is, but then it's got like, I don't know. I read 1 issue of this with their team up with Suicide Squad, and I was like, I like this. I want to read more of it. So this is just 3 issues of that. If I, again, so because we need to include a little bit of the distinguished competition here, which in my case is a Marvel. So I bought 2 Marvel books too, and one of them is again a classic. So because again, we're talking about like superhero teams with Legion. This is a superhero team, like it's a Canadian superhero team, Alpha Flight, and this is the second trade by John Byrne. I mean, they were selling this also for pretty cheap, like $10-15. So I was like, okay, let me pick this up. And that's Sasquatch picking up the Think Man. So Byrne did. So there is the omnibus which is available for this. I was like, I can't read an omnibus, it's heavy, and I have, as my pal Dan Morton says, I have small hands. Although they look very big and they look like Spider-Man shit on them, but then I prefer the trade paperback and the single issue, of course, man. I don't know, it's just easy to read, and if you drop like coffee on it, then you don't feel guilty at all, because it's like a $10 book. So and that's how it should be. So this is the Guardian, and they're a Canadian team. I have read lots of Alpha Flight, like when I was growing up again, but never read it as a collected. So this is old school classic John Byrne art and writing. So can't wait to check this. Like I said, there is an omnibus for this, but again, 80s comics rule. This is all 80s comics, but we got to do something modern, so a little bit modern stuff too. So I got this Savage Avengers trade, again, because I think they'll never reprint this, because Marvel doesn't have the license to Conan anymore. But I've heard good things from my pal Kuli, who read this in an omnibus, and he said that this is this has like good moments. It's a very actiony thing, like they've got like super cool moments. Stories, okay, so but again, the artwork is amazing. It's done by Patrick Zurcher, my dear Dato Jr., whose art I dig, and Patrick Zurcher is doing Solomon Kane now. So I'm like, okay, I'll check this out, at least volume 1, and see if I dug it. And it's got Conan, man, so it can't be that bad. So anything for Conan. And and last but not the least, because I just finished the Spawn deluxe hardcover, rereading it again, because I don't know, I just got the hardcover in the last video, and then I had to, so they explain a little bit about the Flaviac brothers, or basically Violator and his 5 brothers. So there's Vindicator, there's a couple of others. So this is the issue that explains their origin, man. So, and it was like a $5 trade. So I was like, okay, fair enough, I'll check it out. I just read all the Spawn, like the first 12 issues of Spawn in a deluxe format, so in oversized artwork. So I was like, why the hell not, man? Just read a good Violator book where he just basically all the Flaviac brothers just torture and kill people. So so it is a truckload of Legion of Superhero comics. Give them a shot. If you've never read a Legion comic, I would encourage you. This is Paul Levitt's gift to comic books, and and he was a great guy. And so Keith Giffen, his art, anything Keith Giffen does, just buy them. And so you don't have to like or subscribe or do any of these things, but buy Legion of Superheroes, and at least read the Legion of Superheroes. That's good enough for me. And with that down, have a great night, guys. I know it's a long one. I don't know how many of you will watch the entire thing, but I hope you do. But yes, that's how you end a truckload of Legion of Superheroes. And as they say, long live the Legion of Superheroes. L is for Lohit too, man. I never realized that. L is for Lohit. Am I a Legion of Superheroes secret member? Could be, because if I have a ring with L, I'm totally buying a Legion of Superheroes ring with an L on it. That's an idea I never had. Okay, too much internal thinking. All right, guys, see you in the next one. Thank you.